Hello golfers, PGA Teaching Professional Todd Kolb here with USGolfTV, and today we're talking about a strong grip and how a strong grip could literally be killing your golf game in multiple ways. It could be causing you to slice a golf ball. It could be causing great difficulty in your chipping. And believe it or not, I got a theory that it's also really making your direction control also a real challenge in your golf game. So let's talk about it. Let's dive a little bit into the strong grip and why I'm not a big fan of it. And as I go through this, hopefully you're going to learn something. And I'm always going to encourage people who are watching this, we're here to share, we're here to learn. Make sure you post a couple comments. If you've got a question about something I'm talking about, let's hear from you. Or maybe you disagree. That's okay too. A lot of this is about dialogue back and forth and helping everybody learn. So let's dive into it a little bit. So the slice. If you were to take a golf lesson, 8, 10, 12, 20 years ago, the most common answer you would get if you were a person who sliced the golf ball from your coach or your instructor would be to strengthen your grip. They get it stronger. Say, hey, Jimmy, you're slicing the golf ball. You need to make your grip a little bit stronger. That would be the most common answer that you would get. If you went, even this day and age, if you went down to the local bookstore or whatever and you picked up one of the publications on golf, lots of times the suggestion you would see for fixing your slice would be to strengthen your grip. Now let me tell you why that is literally could be killing your game and also causing you to even slice the golf ball more. Here's what we know. With advancements in technology, all right, over the last 8, 10 years or whatever, we know that the golf ball starts primarily based on where the club face is pointing. And I'm going to say that again because this is important. We know that the golf ball starts predominantly based on where the club face is pointing at the moment of impact. All right, anywhere from 70 to 90% depending upon the club and who you ask. All right, so we also know that a strong grip promotes a club face that is closed. So I have a grip that promotes a closed club face. I know that the club face determines where the ball starts. I now know that the golf ball is going to start, all things being equal, left of the target if I'm a right-handed golfer. So when you just think about it at face value, just off that one understanding, a strong grip to fix your slice just falls flat on its face. Now, I'm not saying, all right, because I know some of you, hopefully you're going to probably comment and say, hey, Todd, what about this guy? Or what about David Duval? He had a strong grip. Or what about a great player like Zach Johnson? I mean, one of the best players of all time, strong grip. They could hit multiple shots. Yes, that's true. That is true. We're talking about world-class players there. What I'm talking about right now is the 7 out of 8 people who go tee it up over here, at my local Muni here down the road. All right, a strong grip for them is going to promote that closed club face, and they're not going to have the body movement or the skill level to make that really work, in my opinion. All right, so what do we really want? Well, if you want to truly fix your slice, you need to fix what we call the path, the direction that the club is traveling at the moment of impact. So we've done multiple videos on that. If you're not watching ours, I'm sure there's other ones out there. But at the end of the day, a slice is caused, or any curve in the golf ball, slice or a draw, a hook, is caused by the difference between the angle of the club face and the path at the moment of impact. So what I'm going to suggest is that a neutral grip will promote a club face that is square or preferably slightly open. And when you combine that with a path that is further to the right of the target, now you can actually start to hit a nice high draw. So at the end of the day, here's what I want you to know on this, is that the strong grip promotes a closed club face. The ball starts based on where the face is pointing. If you do it the way you're told to, that ball is going to start left, and all you're going to do is you're going to replace the slice with a low duck hook. It's not going to work. All right, next thing, chipping. Chipping. All right, here's the thing. The worst thing that you can do in chipping, or the most common thing that kills people with their chipping, is when they de-loft the golf club. I'm going to say that again. When you chip, the worst thing you can do, in my opinion, is to de-loft the golf club. For 2 reasons. Number 1 is loft is good. Loft helps get the darn ball up in the air. All right, and if you want to hit the ball lower, which I think is a great idea around the greens when you're hitting bump and runs, just grab a club with less loft. All right? You have a club with 58 degrees of loft. If you want to hit it lower, just grab your pitching wedge or your 9-iron and use what we call the loft on the club, what we would refer to as the effective loft. All right? So that's number one. Number two, here's what I want you to know. This is something that a lot of people do not know. On the bottom of a club, okay, there's some curve on the bottom of the club. And that curve is referred to as bounce. All right? And they put that on there as a design feature because it makes chipping easier. It literally allows the club to bounce through the turf. They don't put that on there because it's cheaper or it's less expensive. My guess is it probably costs more money. I don't know. But they put it on there because it makes the shot easier. And that curve is called bounce. And so, this might be a little bit hard to see, but when we put a club down in its neutral position, so the club shaft is in a neutral position, there's effective loft on the golf club. So this club has 58 degrees of loft on it, which is how it was made. What you'll notice is that the leading edge stays off the ground because the bottom is curved, like the bottom of a boat. Okay, it's arced, it's curved, and that allows the club to bounce through the turf. When you have a strong grip, what did we learn the first thing about a strong grip? A strong grip promotes what type of club face? Closed club face, right? Promotes a closed club face. So when you take a club face and you de-loft it or you close it, what happens is the leading edge comes down and you negate or you eliminate all of the bounce, the design feature that makes the darn shot easier. Makes it easier. So a strong grip is probably killing your chipping. So I want you to ask yourself this, and maybe if you've got a thought on this, you want to put it in the comments or whatever. If you struggle with your bunker play, could be your grip. If you struggle with a high, soft chip shot around the green, it could be your grip. Okay, because your body doesn't understand, all right, I shouldn't say your body, but conceptually we don't understand that bounce, loft is a good thing. So that's the second thing, is that it could be killing your chipping. Now, the third thing I have written down here is direction. And this is where I'm looking for some input from you. Hopefully you have a thought on this, and like I said, maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, I don't care. It doesn't matter. We're here to learn from each other. But I have a thought, and I don't have any scientific research for this. I don't have any paper or something, that we did this big experiment on. It's just something that I've observed over 25 years of teaching, and especially over the last few years. And that is, when I look back on a lot of the students that I've worked with, or that I'm currently working with, especially higher skilled players who are really generating a lot of speed, when they have a strong grip with their driver, they typically struggle with direction. A lot of them struggle with direction. Now, why is that? Well, this is just my thought process on it at this moment in time. And this thought is still evolving. And so maybe you have some thoughts on it. But when somebody has a strong grip, especially a strong lead hand grip, left hand grip for a right-handed golfer, it almost it innately gives them a sense of power, like strength and power. And it really allows them, I believe, to pull and yank on the handle from the top. Because they feel like, especially in clubs where they're looking for max speed, like a driver, that they're going to really pull on that thing. And we're getting some really, really good information out right now from some leaders in our industry about how that pulling of the handle, that pulling of the top end of the club can really make driving difficult. Now, not for everybody, like I said earlier. I mean, whether it be slicing, chipping, or direction, there are people who have a super strong grip who are great drivers of the golf ball. But we're talking about the masses. Jimmy Smith, who's over here playing, like I said, this afternoon or wherever, at the local golf course. But I believe that strong grip gives the golfer a sense of really pulling on the handle, which is causing some face issues and also a lot of other things that are going on there that I kind of have some thoughts on. But that would be something to look at also. If you struggle with your direction, with your driver, it could be your grip. And I've had some real success over the last, I'd say 8-9 months with a couple students who create a lot of speed, who had strong grips and were struggling with their direction. And I weakened their grip a little bit. I didn't even weaken it, I just neutralized it a little bit. And what I started to notice is the club started to release a little bit better, it started to catch up, and their direction started to improve. So it's just another thing for you to think about. So at the end of the day, like I said, this is about just get you thinking. If you've got a strong grip, or you've been told that you slice the golf ball and your instructor told you to strengthen your grip, be careful. Be careful. If you struggle with your chipping, especially high soft shots, bunker shots, it could be your grip. It might not be your movement or your form. It could literally just be as simple as your grip. And like I said earlier, this is kind of a philosophy, and I'd be really curious if anybody else is noticing this. If you have a strong grip and you're struggling with the direction of your driver, man, try this out and let me know what you find out. But I got a hunch that a strong grip is causing some direction issues, especially in higher speed players, higher club head speed players in their driving. So anyhow, 3 things to think about the strong grip. Hopefully you've enjoyed this information. I look forward to sharing more information with you, and I also look forward to hearing from you on things that we might be able to talk about to help you play better golf.